Okay. With my headset down now. I should have done this last night, but I just now got around to watching this today. So this is a review of Friday Night Fights for 2 nights ago. It's gonna be 2 nights ago because, well, last night. There were two fights. And the first fight was Demetrius. There were two fights. It was at I think the Pachanga Resort Casino. I don't remember, but the first fight featured top prospect Demetrius Andrade going up against a guy who is 36, who has a record of 8-8 with only 2 knockouts. Jeffrey Siegel, I don't know, I forgot his last name. But basically, this was the hand-picked opponent for Demetrius Andrade. And Teddy Atlas has made numerous points about Andrade's slow career progress, because I saw another one of his fights on Friday Night Fights this season. His one-round devastation of Bernardo Guareca, which was a complete overmatch. Guareca was a smaller man, and basically was overmatched. Got knocked out midway through the first round. Before the fight started, they did the bioblast on Andrade, and Andrade said he says that he's mentally ready to go up to the next level, but he's not physically ready. After seeing that fight against Jeffrey Siegel, I don't know how to say his last name. I don't have it off the top of my head right now. I don't think he's ready either way. Because this was an opponent who had been knocked out twice, who had been 8-8, who had lost 3 of his last 4, who was 14 years Andrade's senior, was a smaller man throughout his career. And yet, Andrade did not seem to get this message. That he was supposed to win the fight by knockout. He only won this fight by... Actually, I don't think this really matters. You can search... If you really want to see the full fight, you can search it on YouTube or something. I don't think it's surfaced up on YouTube yet, but I'm just basically going to say the results. This is a spoiler alert, so if you don't want to listen to it, I'll put it at the start of the video. If you don't want to listen to the results, don't watch the video. Anyway, Andrade came out in the first couple rounds, and you'd expect him to knock him out in the first round. Teddy Atlas didn't expect this to go 2 rounds. I didn't expect it to go 2 minutes. I didn't expect Seguel, like, or something, I think was his name, to go 2 minutes, much less a 6-round fight. I mean, and this is Andrade said, before this fight, like I said, he said, I'm not physically ready, so I'm going to do another 6-rounder. And we'll see how it goes. Deer Park water, you gotta love it. And I personally think this is BS. I mean, you take a look at all the top prospects. Yuriorkis Gamboa. The guy's been in the sport not that long. He's got a featherweight title. I think he's got the WBA featherweight title. He's unbeaten, and he's fighting top guys. He's fighting top guys. Seriously. And in the defense of the camp, the Andrade people say, well, Floyd Mayweather at this stage of his career had an even worse winning percentage that he faced during that. At that point in his career, he had a worse winning percentage of his opponents. Okay, I can understand fighting low-level guys for your first few fights, but after a while, these early fights are supposed to mentally prepare you to take on guys up at the top or, the higher rungs of the ladder. Basically, Andre did not step up to the plate and knock this guy out. He let him linger. He let him get past the second round. He let him get all the way. And in the final 30 seconds, it was pretty funny stuff. His opponent, I think, Seiwa was saying, come on, young boy. Come on. He's saying to him basically, you're this 9-0 prospect. Show me that you're this 9-0 prospect. Knock me out. And Andre didn't do it. He only won by decision. He won by unanimous decision. And one of two things comes up. Teddy Atlas made a brilliant point. One of two things comes up. There are two arguments. On the one end, you could say the Andre people are completely right. He is not ready for this type of fight. For a high level type of fight. Or you could say that the lower fights, the first few fights in his career that were supposed to mentally build him up, they didn't build him up. In fact, in the last round, Andrade had to go so far as saying to his cornerman, his dad, to tell him that he was the best. He flat out said, and I quote, "Tell me I'm the best." If you're fighting an 8-8 guy who had been knocked out 3 times in his last 4, who was a smaller man through his career, who was 14 years your senior, and you're having to have your dad tell you that you're the best, that doesn't necessarily give you great things down the road. Anyway, Andre won by unanimous decision. All 3 judges scored at 60-54. I just thought that Andre should have won the fight by knockout. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. I need to move on to the main event. God, I gotta put this up on the recorded thing. Hold on 1 second. I've got this still on my DVR, so I gotta figure out. Main event was Delvin Rodriguez versus Mighty Mike Arnoudos. Arnoudos, I think is how you say his name. Arnoudos is originally from Greece. Both fighters have been on the bad end of judges' decisions, including a thoroughly terrible decision rendered against Rodriguez in Poland. He had fought a Polish fighter in Poland, mistake number 1, scored a knockdown in the fight, completely controlled it, but the judges gave it a unanimous decision to the Polish fighter. And then the Polish fighter had to get medical attention. Anyway, Rodriguez, this fight took a couple rounds to get going. I think by about the 5th or 6th round, that was when it really started getting going. And Arnoudos was landing shots, but he just didn't land consistently enough. There was one point, I think, in like the 6th or 7th round or something, where he threw a punch where it started low, but he came right up on the belt line. And he had already been warned for low blows. Referee told him 1 point deduction. Now, Teddy scored it a 10-9 round because he said it was a 10-10 round, but with the point deduction, the judges obviously disagreed. They scored that round a 10-8. I'm willing to bet. But then again, Teddy's thinking in a different mindset than the judges were. Now, in the 11th round, Arnoudos had this bad cut over his, I think, left eye, and he was bleeding pretty badly. Delvin Rodriguez, apparently, according to Teddy to Joe and Teddy, he has an uncanny ability. So, basically, one of the best cornermen in the business, or one of the best cut men in the business, in Arnoudos' corner, took the full 60 seconds to fix him up. But then, 90 seconds into the round, the final round, the cut opened up again. It was a pretty bad cut. Anyway, Rodriguez, it was a little bit closer on Teddy's scorecard than it was on the judges' scorecards. But Rodriguez won by unanimous decision, and still the USBA welterweight champion. So that's my Friday Night Fights review for the night of April 2nd, 2010. I will see you guys next week, probably next Monday, with the review of next week's Friday Night Fights, if it's next week. That's it. Take care, guys.